Hi, I'm Lauren. Welcome to my channel. This month in October, I'm taking you along on the adventure of writing and illustrating a short story. This is all going to be done in pen and ink, and I'm going to post the progress as much as possible during the month of October. Really excited to share this journey with you, and this will be my first time writing a full-on short story. So I'm excited to see how this goes, where it goes, and what it becomes. So thank you for joining me for this video, and let's get started. So a little backstory to this project is that I've always wanted to illustrate and write a book, especially to illustrate since I love art, and I think that my illustration style matches quite well to children's books, but I'm also really interested in writing, so this is going to be a really fun month of just diving right into that and seeing what comes out. So this whole idea started with the Inktober prompts, and I sat down and I really thought about the prompts and created a story related to the flow of the prompts. So each chapter is labeled with the Inktober prompt as the heading, and yeah, I'm just really excited to share the story with you, and I hope you enjoy it. So now, guys, I'm going to be reading you the story that I've written, and I'm also going to be showing some of the artworks as I'm reading the story. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and let's get into the story. Chapter 1, Mustache. A curly-haired, tired-eyed Jenny Rose stepped out of her car after a few too many hours of traveling from England. She had just arrived at what was supposed to be her new beginning, a big manor house on a large piece of land near the coast in South Africa. She inherited this house and land through family she had never met. It was a surreal feeling looking up at this broken shell of a house that was on the verge of being swallowed by the nature around it. What have I gotten myself into? She thought as she tried for the 10th time to unlock the front door. Finally, after really putting her wrist into turning the key and using her shoulder to simultaneously push the door, Jenny finally walked into what was supposed to be her biggest adventure yet. A gigantic portrait of an older man with a mustache greeted her in the entrance hallway. Chapter 2, Weave. Jenny Rose was finally getting to see who she had inherited the house from. The man with the mustache must be Albert Mackenzie, the family relative Jenny's mom had told her about before she'd passed. "Thank you, Albert," Jenny whispered gratefully as she bowed to the painted portrait on the wall. He looked like a kind man with a face that holds many stories. "I can't wait to learn some more about you, Albert," Jenny said as she started to look around the room and take in the rest of the entrance hall. On either side of the portrait and on the floor were woven baskets and woven dishes. She put her hand out and touched one with her fingers. The weave of the basket was so intricate. They were all covered in dust, but still so beautiful. This must be something that was made in South Africa, Jenny thought, amazed at seeing something culturally new to her. Chapter 3, Crown. On the wall, about a meter apart from the portrait of Albert Mackenzie, was a painted portrait of a woman in a lovely dress with a sort of crown on her head. Jenny moved closer to have a look at the lady with the crown. This must be Madeline Mackenzie, Albert's wife. She too looked kind, and she seemed to have a lovely glow to her. Jenny felt a sense of peace wash over her as she looked at their portraits side by side. "Okay, so maybe this is going to all be okay," Jenny quietly said. Despite all the dust around, the cracks in the wall, and all the other things Jenny needed to fix and repair, she was starting to feel like this is exactly where she was meant to be. She gave the portraits one last grateful gaze and stepped further into her new home.
Chapter 4. Murky. The next room Jenny stepped into was like something out of a dream, except for the smell. "What on earth is that smell?" Jenny loudly asked to the empty room. Half of Jenny's mind was jumping to the amazing potential of the room, while the other half wanted to throw up from the smell. This room looked like an atrium with a glassed roof, tiled floors, and a built-in pond in the middle of the room. Jenny stepped nervously towards the pond and looked into the murky water, only to be greeted by a floating, dead rat. "Oh no," Jenny proclaimed while holding her nose. She searched the room and found a pot which must have once held a beautiful plant. She used the pot to carefully scoop up the rat and walked back through the entrance hall to throw it somewhere outside. "Did I mention I'm really grateful to be here?" she said with gritted teeth to the portraits of the previous owners as she walked back in to explore more of the house. Chapter 5. Deer. After moving through all the rooms of the house, Jenny was starting to realize that there was a lot of cleaning and repairing that would be needed to bring this house back to its former glory. Judging from the portraits of Albert and Madeline she had seen earlier, it was clear this manor house had once been a very rich and very likely royal place. That night, Jenny found a bedroom upstairs that had a window looking out onto the land and a forest at the edge of the garden. As she was clearing a place to sleep on the floor, she noticed movement in the forest. The moon was full that evening, and everything outside had a glow to it. "Maybe it's a deer," she thought quickly. "Oh wait, they don't get deer here like we do in England," Jenny said aloud as if she had an audience in the room. Jenny watched the forest as one animal, kind of like a deer, stepped out into the open and started eating the overgrown garden grass. She could just make out spots on its back and white stripes on its chest. "Oh wow, that's a bushbuck," Jenny excitedly exclaimed. She had seen one like it in the South African nature book she purchased at the airport before she flew. It was kind of comforting to know she wasn't all alone on this big piece of land. Jenny fell asleep thinking of all the new experiences she was having and imagining what all was to come. Chapter 6. Pierce. The next morning, Jenny awoke suddenly to a strange sound on the window. She sat up, hair all a mess, and looked up, only to see a giant pigeon staring back at her through the glass. It had wide open eyes that could pierce the soul. It just kept staring at her. Jenny wasn't sure if she was still dreaming. Next thing, the pigeon clunked its beak against the glass, making a very loud sound. Jenny recognized the bird from the nature book. It was a rock pigeon. Jenny yawned and rubbed her eyes, and when she looked up, the pigeon was still staring at her. "I've got too much to do today, Mr. Pigeon," Jenny said as she got up and started on what was going to be a crazy day of cleaning and making this place livable. Chapter 7. Starfish. Later in the morning, after sweeping out about 3 rooms, Jenny walked into the 4th one she wanted to tackle. This room was clearly some kind of study or library. The walls were lined with floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, and there was a desk towards the back of the room, positioned underneath a skylight window. The sun rays were illuminating layers of dust on everything, especially the odd books lying on the desk. Jenny walked over to the desk, drawn by some inquisitive instinct to have a closer look. Sitting just under a brass statue of a fish jumping out of water was an envelope. On the corner, Jenny could see an emblem with a starfish as the main focus. She picked up the envelope and saw it was addressed to Albert Mackenzie. "What story do you hold?" Jenny said curiously. Eager to learn a bit more about her late family, Jenny opened the letter. So guys, that brings us to the end of this video. Follow along as during the next couple of weeks I'm going to be posting the rest of the story, and I hope you enjoyed this video and getting a bit of insight into what it's like to write and illustrate a story. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun creating the story, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you liked this video, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you soon for another video.